Hello, check, check. Hello, check, check. 1, 2, 3, check, check.
Good morning to one and all. On behalf of Department of ECE, Bardhaman College of Engineering, I, Dr. M. Srilata, Assistant Professor, extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to you all for today's workshop on AI-CYBERTVR, AI for Threat, Vulnerability and Resilience in Cybersecurity. This event is proudly organized with the esteemed support and guidance of leading national institutions and innovation bodies, including India AI Impact Summit 2026, backed by the Ministry of Education, Government of India, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MIT, the Ministry of Electronics and IT, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, India AI, and Bardhaman College of Engineering, Hyderabad, host Inclusion for India AI mission. The initiative aligns with the nation's vision of advancing artificial intelligence, strengthening cybersecurity through threat detection, vulnerability, and resilience. The event is further supported by AICTE, MOE's Innovation Cell, and AICTE Idea Lab, reinforcing its commitment to fostering creativity, research excellence, and industry-ready skills. With active participation from academic institutions and innovation councils, this collaborative effort aims to drive responsible AI adoption, inspire impactful ideas, and strengthen India's innovation ecosystem. With this, I extend a cordial welcome to today's distinguished guest, Mr. Subhash Muthareddy, Vice President, Inspira Enterprise, Hyderabad, and Shweta Srivatsava, Data Analytics and AI Practice Head, Inspira Enterprise, Hyderabad. I also extend a warm welcome to our guest of honor, Professor J.V.R. Ravindra Sir, Principal, Bardhaman College of Engineering, Dean Academic Affairs and Head of the Department, Professor S. Rajendra Sir, Heads of all departments, Deans, Associate Deans, faculty members, and my dear students. We are delighted to welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of official affiliation pre-summit event under the India AI Summit 2026. I now take the privilege to invite Professor S. Rajendra Sir, Dean Academic Affairs and Head Department of EC onto the dais. Sir, please. Thank you, sir. Now I request our esteemed principal, Professor J.V.R. Ravindra Sir, to grace on the dais. Sir, please. Thank you, sir. I take great privilege to invite today's guest, Mr. Subhash Muthareddy, Vice President, Data Analytics and AI Practice Head, Inspira Enterprise, Hyderabad, to come onto the dais. Sir, please. Thank you, sir. I request all the dignitaries on through the dais to kindly come forward for the lighting of the lamp. With this auspicious beginning, I now invite Ms. G. Mani Dikshita and Vijita Sharma to sing prayer song. May I now request Professor S. Rajendra sir to brief the audience about the event.
Very good morning, respected dignitaries on the dais, the chief guest for today's event, Mr. Subhash from Inspira Enterprise Vice President, and Professor J.V. Ravindra sir, Principal of the college, and another guest who will be joining in the online in the afternoon is Shweta Srivastava, who is Practice Head, Digital Analytics and AI, Inspira Enterprise. And Dr. J. Krishnan Chaitanya, Dean R&D, who is the POC for all the AI summits. Then coordinators of this event, J. Lakshmi Madam, Sri Lata Madam, and Tanvi other deans, heads, faculty members, and all the students. Very good morning to all of you. It's my privilege to welcome you all to this two-day workshop on AI-CYBERTVR, AI for threat, vulnerability, and resilience in cybersecurity. This is an official affiliation pre-summit event. This is the 5th AI summit actually we are conducting in this college. You have seen the previous 4 events that were conducted, and another one is expected to be done in the next week. So this year 2025 was treated as year of AI by Government of India. So year long, these AI summits have been conducted in many educational institutions and industries. And these AI summits, what we are conducting, is also part of the initiative by Government of India. And all these official AI summits are being supported by AICT and Ministry of Education and other agencies, all presented over on the slide here. And the major event is going to happen in the February at New Delhi, where we are also representing that at national level in the support of AI initiative in India. So this summit, if you see, all the themes of these workshops or trainings that what we are conducting as a part of awareness program are all AI integrated with every other field. Every other field means we have seen recently. So AI is for agricultural sector, industry, innovations, industry, automations, then other fields like electric vehicles and other so many. So this is another theme we have come up with cybersecurity, AI integration with cybersecurity. Cybersecurity alone itself is a very vast field where it will be dealing with all the issues, because every organization now is completely relying on digital infrastructure. If wherever there is a digital infrastructure is there comes the security issues. So we have to tackle them. One concern is that the technical aspect of the cybersecurity. The other concern is the ethical responsibility. It is both social imperative and technical concern, where together we have to address the issues related with cybersecurity. And AI integration into this, it is taking a new landscape. We have to understand how we can integrate AI into cybersecurity and all those things. So you will be getting new insights in this area from the two experts who have come from the cybersecurity domain and having vast experience in industry. They will be sharing with you the issues and concerns related with cybersecurity with the integration of AI into it. And by the end of this two-day workshop, you will be getting some insights how you can actually enter into this field and have and you can have you can explore to search how you can actually establish your field of interest into this and have opportunities in this field. So I thank both the speakers who have accepted to come here and deliver their talks, and also all the
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. I now request our respected principal, sir, Professor J.V.R. Ravindra, sir, to kindly share the opening remarks of the event. Sir, please.
Thank you, Srilata. Respected degrees on the dais, my friends and dear students. Topic is threat, vulnerability, and resilience. I don't know how many of you know about the exact meanings of this vulnerability and resilience, but I would like to connect these two words because you already know about the threat. But if you do not understand the two real meanings of those 2 points that we mentioned, probably you cannot really enjoy the next 2 sessions or the next 2 days, whatever the sessions that we are having it. Most of you might have completed VLSI in your course or will be studying VLSI, but there is one wonderful topic in VLSI which normally we call it as a DFT, Design for Testability. If you don't know about this concept also, I think you might have seen many YT videos, YouTube videos that some testers will fall their mobile phones on the floor and they would like to see how best that particular device is working on it. Have you seen such videos? Right, good. So that actually comes under the manufacturability. So there is something called DFM also, Design for Manufacturability. That means that I don't really accept any device which has a manufacturing defect. Do you? I don't accept. So I also expect my device to work in the long run. So therefore, before they release so-and-so device, they really do it for the testability. A lot of testings will happen on this, and then they really identify the hotspots on the VLSI chip, and then they try to remove or they try to spread that particular hotspot so that the heat dissipation of the devices will come down. That's the second one. And third one is something called design for yield. Okay, that means that yield must be as high as possible. So these are the 3 fundamental concepts that any device must go through before it comes to the market. But there is one thing that is really missing out. What is that? I'll tell you. But before that, if I leave my Apple iPhone here and if I come after 2 days, can I see that here? Switching off all these cameras. Why 2 days? After 2 minutes it can only be there, right? So, but I'm expecting such kind of the device. That is what normally we call it as a design for security. So even I leave any of my electronic device anywhere, it has to come back to me. We are very good in testability, we are very good in manufacturability, we are very good in yield, but we are very, very, very poor in design for security. Our devices are not secure. Don't say that, sir, I have not an antivirus so and so. Those are software securities, not the hardware securities. I'm talking about the hardware security. So that means the chips which were manufactured or which were designed, they're not designed with respect to security concerns. But you are taking an algorithm or you are taking some architecture and you are installing in your devices that can lead to some extent. Suppose if I lost my mobile phone today, I can track that mobile phone, find my device where I can switch off it. So that's actually lose-lose situation. I lost my device and the other person who got it cannot use my mobile phone. But it must be a win-win situation, right? Or win-lose situation, but it cannot be lose-lose situation where I'm losing it. The person who theft my device cannot be used that particular mobile phone. So this is what actually the scenario is in the current, the electronic industry. So therefore you have a threat. Okay, you cannot really say that, sir, I don't have threats in my devices, right? And having said this point, I just try to connect one more example to you. I don't know how many of you know this. In Bihar, one IPS officer recently, he's an IPS officer, underline that, okay? He got some call and the other person said that something, he has shown some very good charm things to him and he has transferred 8 crore rupees to the other person, 8 crores. And he's a very educated person. And probably we are not getting such calls. You may be wondered why you are not getting such kind of the calls. We are not getting the calls because, don't say that we are not rich. Okay. So even you have 10 crores in your bank also, there is a chance that you will not get calls, because if you do normal things, attackers will only target if they do abnormal things. So that's actually their track. That's what we call differential power attacks in VLSI. So if I do a normal things, attackers can never get that point to some extent. I cannot really generalize that, but nowadays their algorithms are so good, and even they can track anybody. But if you do certain abnormal things, doing transactions late in the night, 2 o'clock, it's some kind of the abnormality, right? So you don't want to be seen by anybody, but hackers will definitely observe such kind of the attackers. So threats are there. And what do you mean by vulnerability here? Weak. That means that your devices are so weak, right? They can be attacked very fast, very, very fast. So that's what actually the vulnerability. So the devices can be weak, but you need to protect them with many hardware as well as the software code designs. But the resilience is the most important. Resilience in the sense how fast you're coming back out of it. That means that when the attack has happened, and because your system is very weak, but what are the precautions that you're going to take so that next attack cannot be happened. And having said all these points, you have to also remember that problem taking more time. Yeah. So having said all these points, what the point that you have to underline is that AI is not for somebody else's cake. It's actually electronics one. And you need to get that technology into the life so that it makes your life very simple, very, very simple. But that means that collaborate. You collaborate with AI, and you ask AI, you train AI to do your work. Okay, not your work in the sense, don't ask AI to write your exams, right? That's not my intentions are. Okay, so that's the reason, because AI doesn't have ethics. Okay, but we have ethics. So that's the threat, vulnerability, and then resilience. So these are the three important aspects of the security system. You talk about anything. It really doesn't matter whether you're an electronics engineer or a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer or a CSE engineer. But these 3 points are there. Probably if I move this AI out of this particular topic, otherwise also these 3 are important in our life. Okay, we are weak, yes, but I failed in 4 courses. But what is the time that I'm bouncing back, which is what actually we normally see. But they combine that with the security systems. So there are many interesting algorithms in the cybersecurity. Okay, so if you can join those algorithms into the VLSI field, then you get a wonderful projects and patents, many other things. So request all of you to concentrate on the next 2-day sessions and understand how best you can take them into the because I broadly mentioned VLSI, but that does not mean that I'm biased towards it. But also you can also get them into the signal processing communications, even IoT devices too. So whatever the concept that you take it, get them into your own applications and try to use them, then you get the wonderful applications. I wish you all the best. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful words. Now I request Dr. A. Jayalakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of ACE, to introduce today's chief guest, distinguished guest, Mr. Subhash Muthareddy, Vice President.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's session. I am Dr. A. Jayalakshmi, working as Assistant Professor in Department of ACE, Vardhaman College of Engineering, which is one of the leading institute in Telangana. Now it's my privilege to introduce our today's chief guest, Mr. Subhash Muthareddy, Vice President, Inspira Enterprises. Subhash Muthareddy is a seasoned cybersecurity leader, currently serving as Vice President, Threat and Vulnerability Management Practice at Inspira Enterprises in Hyderabad. With over 17 years of experience in cybersecurity, Mr. Subhash has expertise spanning advisory, consulting, engineering, operations, practice development, and delivery. At Inspira Enterprise, a global security, data analytics, and AI service provider, he leads initiatives to help organizations develop and implement proactive threat and vulnerability management strategies, focusing on identifying, analyzing, and remediating security risks. Before joining Inspira Enterprises, Mr. Subhash has led a role at notable organizations organizations, including Securin as Director for Cyber Services, Deloitte, US, Juniper Networks, Cognizant, and Wipro Technologies, bringing deep industry experience in cyber defense and security strategy. He holds an executive master degree in general management from the Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta, and a degree in electrical and electronics engineering, strengthening his technical foundations and leadership capabilities in the cybersecurity domain. It's my pleasure to invite Mr. Subhash Muthareddy, sir, Vice President at Inspira Enterprises, to share his insights and address the gathering. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I thank Rajendra sir and Ravindra sir for giving me this opportunity. I really feel glad that I'm here. In fact, I have to be in Bangalore today, me and Shweta, but I made time to come here because it gives a great privilege for me to address the students, right? It always feels good when you come to a college, address the students. It's a way of giving back to the community, right? You learn, you go to the industry, you start having your own life, all that, right? But when you come to things like this, it's like giving back to the community where you share your knowledge, insights, inspire young generation so that they also can do the same what you have been doing from the last 2 decades, right? So about the AI Summit, I really want to thank Government of India for this because AI, that's the buzzword that we have been hearing from the last 1-2 years in the industry, right? Why is AI becoming so popular? So you would have heard a lot like generative AI, predictive AI, cognitive AI, agentic AI. These are words that you have been hearing from the last 1-2 years, right? So why is AI becoming so popular? And is this just a boom or bubble? It's anybody's guess, to be honest, right? But to be honest, let's talk about electric cars. Have you thought that there will be battery operated electric cars 10 years back? I think nobody would have imagined that we'll have electric cars, right? And think about smartphones these days. You have a camera integrated into the smartphones, right? So think about 20 years back. How was a phone? It was a basic phone where you have calling ability in that, right? But these days, the smartphones, they can do everything. I mean, it brings the world to your doorstep, right? You can access anything and everything through your smartphone. So there are companies like Kodak, Fujifilms. I don't know if you know, you guys are Gen Zs, right? So in our days, we used to have Kodak, Fujifilms. I think you can definitely connect, right? So they are exclusively for photos, taking photos. They were billion-dollar companies ages like 10 years back. Now they're like nothing companies. Why? Because there is a disruptive innovation that happened in the industry where the smartphones, the integration of cams into the smartphones, that has taken a U-turn for these digital camera organizations. They were not able to scale. I mean, nobody would have expected that you would have got a camera integrated into your smartphone. So those companies got outdated because of it, right? So in the same way, I think everyone would have heard necessity is the mother of invention, right? Everyone knows that. But the trend these days is disruptive innovation. So is AI required for the world? To be honest, it can be anybody's guess, right? Yes, no, maybe. But it is here. Disruptive innovation is here. In any industry, innovation is inevitable. There are organizations who are investing heavily into AI. So I think it is more important that you adopt the AI boom that is happening, right? Ride with the tide, and definitely you will have an advantage. In security specifically and in development specifically, we have application development, code writing and all, right? So it is predicted that generative AI will take over the entire development industry, and close to 90-95% of the code will be developed through generative AI in the future. What does that mean for professionals? It means that the ability to write the code will definitely reduce over the period of time. But is it a threat for the future generations? No, it's not a threat. It is going to be an aid for you, right? It is going to help you in doing your job much better, much more efficient, much more faster, right? So, if you talk about companies like Tesla, Nvidia, everyone knows cars, right? Germans are known for designing, making cars. Uh, Mercs, BMWs, Audis of the world, they all come from Germany, like you know, right? But uh, have have anyone imagined that Tesla would take over the cars industry? No one would have imagined. Why did Tesla really become a superpower in the automotive industry? It's because they are into electric cars. All these German car manufacturers, they were late in catching up in that particular tide, right? So it is important that you always stay ahead of the curve and embrace the innovations that are happening in the industry. Only then you will be able to scale yourself, make sure that you are close, right? And these kind of workshops, they're really important because Indian academic field is known for its academics. But the only downside that I see is you're more aligned with the theory, right? You understand theory, you are very good in the subjective knowledge and all. But once you complete your education, it is important that you also have to understand how the industry is, right? So these kind of workshops, they bridge that gap. They bring the academics and the industry closer together. So I think these kind of workshops are really going to benefit the students, where they understand what the industry is expecting from you, right? So that is really important from an education or learning point of view. And these days, the students, right, they are very specific. I mean, in my times, I was an electrical engineer. It was not by choice. It was that is what I got, so that is what I went into. But these days, the students are really specific. I mean, I know maybe a couple of candidates in their 7th, 8th grades who want to get into cybersecurity. They are learning how to actually hack systems, how to actually protect systems as early as 7th and 8th grade. Why? Because I mean, the generation is changing. They don't want things to be a choice. They have very specific choices. If they want to get into a field, they're starting really, really early. I think you also have to start doing that from now on. I don't know which year you're all in, but it is really important. See, because of all these AI adoption and all, generic skill no longer will be valued. You should be having some specific skill. You should have some expertise in specific domains and all going forward. So I think it is very important for you to choose what is your strength, where do you want to get to. You should have that vision for yourself to excel in the industry that is coming up for you. And I was just reading a newspaper article when I was sitting in HOD's, principal sir's cabin. So 1/11th of India's GDP is being generated by 10 to 15 under 40 entrepreneurs. Do you know how staggering it is? I mean, generational wealth is something that we have known and heard of, right? But out of this 11, 12 entrepreneurs, 83% of the entrepreneurs are first generation entrepreneurs. What does that mean? They started from scratch, and then now they are at a position where they have become entrepreneurs and contributing to the GDP of the nation. That's staggering, right? So I think you all should be motivated enough to ensure that you are choosing your paths, you're choosing your strengths, and making sure that you are making a meaningful impact to the community. Okay, we'll talk more on how cybersecurity can impact the future of IT industry. That is what is coming up in my guest lecture. But for now, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir. It was an indeed a pleasure listening to your valuable insights. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. A. Jayalakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of EC, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Now it's my honor to propose vote of thanks for this auspicious occasion. And on behalf of the Vardhaman College of Engineering, Hyderabad, it's my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks for the official pre-summit event under the India AI Impact Summit 2026, organized as two-day workshop on AI-CYBERTVR, AI for Threat, Vulnerability and Resilience in Cybersecurity, held from 22nd to 23rd January 2026 in association with India AI Impact Summit and the Inspira Enterprise, Hyderabad. This prestigious national level initiative is closely aligned with the visionary objectives of MITV, the Ministry of Education and India AI Mission and AICTE, and has provided a significant platform for meaningful academic, industry, government collaborations. We express our deep sense of gratitude to our distinguished guest, Mr. Subhash Mutreddy, Vice President, Inspira Enterprise, Hyderabad, and Shweta Srivatsav, Data Analytics and AI Practice Head, Inspira Enterprise, Hyderabad, whose vast international exposure, including focus on identifying, analyzing, and remediating security risks, leveraging advanced analytics, AI technologies, and data-driven solutions, whose inspiring address have greatly enriched this program. We are deeply thankful to MITY and extended our special gratitude to Kushal Vadvan and Mr. Kavita Bhatia, Chief Operating Officer, India AI Impact Summit Mission 2026, for her strategic guidance and unwavering institutional support that made this initiative impactful and national relevant. Our sincere thanks to Ms. Payal Bhattacharjee, who leads the communications and outreach verticals of the India AI Impact Summit, for her seamless coordination and outreach support, and Mr. Datta, representing India AI, for efficiently serving as documenting the key deliberations of the event. We gratefully acknowledge the management of Vardhaman College of Engineering for their constant encouragement and support. We extend our heartfelt thanks to our Principal Sir, Professor J.V.R. Ravindra Sir, Dean Academic Affairs and Head of the Department, Professor S. Rajendra Sir, Deans, Heads of all departments, faculty coordinators, organizing committee members, and supporting staff who collectively efforts, direct and indirect, were instrumental in the successful planning and execution of this program. Finally, we thank all the participants and students who enthusiastically involvement, curiosity, and active engagement truly brought this program to life. Once again, we extend our sincere gratitude to everyone who contributed to making the official pre-summit event under the India AI Impact Summit 2026 a meaningful, impactful, and memorable academic endeavor. Thank you all. So now I request today's distinguished guest, Mr. Subhash Mutreddy sir, please take over the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Slides will come up.
Yes. So the topic that I chose was how cybersecurity is shaping the future of our IT. So you all acknowledge that IT has taken over India's economy in the last
2 3 decades, right? Before 2000s, I think the shape of India when it comes to economic growth was totally different. Uh, from the time of early or late 90s, everything changed. Globalization has happened, outsourcing has happened in IT industry, all that, right? Because of that, the IT industry itself has changed, and the overall economy that is contributed through IT has significantly improved from the last two decades. So, why is cybersecurity important for IT, and how is it shaping the overall IT economy? That is what I want to focus on. I'm just showing the roadmap on what I'm going to cover. What is cybersecurity, the type of cybersecurity attacks for you to understand, what are some real world cyber attacks that are happening out there in the wild world, core areas of cybersecurity which are very important for you to understand, threat and vulnerability management, which I'm a global practice head for that particular practice at Inspira. So I want to deep dive a little into threat and vulnerability management. I also want to talk more about what are the career opportunities, how you can progress yourself if you want to enter into the cybersecurity space in the industry, and then what are the skills required as a student for yourself. So these are the things that I want to cover. So quickly getting in. So you are all ECE students, right? If I am not wrong. Great. And do we have all the year students? Like, how many of you are first year students? Great. Second year? Third year? Oh, seriously? Oh, okay. Fourth year? Oh, wow. I have one from fourth year. Okay. Where are the fourth year students, ma'am? Exams. Fourth year also. Third year and fourth year. Okay, okay, got it. I think if I'm, can I say first year and second year or the major mix of students here? I think, yeah, that is great. See, because this is the phase where you want to choose where you want to go in your career, right? So I think this will definitely help you, or I can definitely help you in motivating you if you want to get into cybersecurity, right? Okay. Getting in, what is cybersecurity? Again, I want this session to be very interactive. Uh, can anyone raise your hand? What is cybersecurity? I just want to understand from you what is cybersecurity. Please don't feel shy. I want this to be an interactive session so that it will be beneficial for you and I can also enjoy the conversation. I don't want this to be a monologue where I just deliver what I want to say. If you're not raising your hand, I'll pick people. So please volunteer so that everyone else is actually saved. You can't be so shy. Come on. So you don't know about cybersecurity? None of you know about cybersecurity? Yes? No? Okay, okay, all right. Let me start off. Let's see if you will open up slowly. So the fundamentals of cybersecurity falls in three aspects: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. At a high level, I'll not go into deep dive technical stuff. I'll just tell at a high level. Confidentiality. What is confidentiality in layman terms? Secrecy, right? Yeah. Integrity. Again, in layman terms, normal, plain in English terms, what is integrity? Ethics, yes, very close. Integrity is non-tampering of data, basically. So let's say that you have a Word document. which has some XYZ information, right? So for example, let's say that this is the document that you have, right? So if you are sending this document to someone else, I'm sending this document to Jay Lakshmi ma'am, it has to exactly go like this. You can't tamper with this data, right? If it is going exactly like this, that means that this document is integrity is placed properly in that particular document. Availability, what is availability? Availability of data. Accessible, right? Yeah, accessible. So which means that you have a data and it should be accessible to you at any given point of time. So let's say that you have a web application or a website. So let's say you open that website at 8 o'clock in the morning. You should immediately get what is the information that is there. You open at 12 o'clock in the midnight. Still that particular website is available for you to see, right? So anything and everything that is related to cybersecurity revolves around these three concepts: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And it is all related to data. Is your data confidential? Let's say you have your bank passwords, right? If you save it online digitally somewhere, is it safe and secure enough
that no one else has access to that? That is confidentiality. Integrity, you have some intellectual data or a IP data that has to be non-tampered. It has to be exactly like that. You can't miss out on specific pages, or new pages cannot be added. That is integrity. And availability is that particular data should be available to you whenever you want to access, as long as you have the right access or the authority to access that particular data. That is what all the cybersecurity concepts revolve around. So in simple terms, cybersecurity is all about digitally protecting your data, right? You have data in your digital environment, and that has to be protected. If you look at, I don't know how many of you can connect, but if you look at magistrate offices or state offices or central government offices like 20 years back, you used to see a lot of files which are logged, right? You have 2, 3, 4 rooms which have full of paper, right? All documented paperwork used to be there. But look at the modern offices these days. If you go to a registration office or something, you won't find a single paper. Why? What is the reason? Because everything is digitalized. All you need is a computer. It will actually save all the data into a cloud or into a server where all this data is digitally available, right? So when you save so much data, terabytes of data, into a cloud or into a server, you also have to make sure that the CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, should hold good for that particular data. Let's say that half of the data is deleted. What will happen? It will impact real lives, right? Let's say that those are, we are in a registration office where properties are registered, right? What happens when half of the data is deleted from that? It will have huge impact on the normal society, because nobody knows who is owning that particular land or that particular house anymore, right? That cannot be possible. So in brief, cybersecurity is a practice of protecting your systems. When I say systems, your digital systems, and protecting your networks, whatever networks that you have, right? They have to be protected. What are examples of network? Your load balancers, your routers, switches, all these come under firewalls, all these come under your networks. They cannot be compromised. And then protecting your data. Primarily, it's all about data, right? Protecting your data. And also protecting the users' information. You're all users. You're the end users of specific data, right? All the data has to be protected, and it has to be protecting the user data also. And we are protecting that from whom? What are we protecting from? It is from hackers, malware, data breaches, insider threats. These are all the threats that are there in the open world, right? So they're all threats. So from against that, we are actually protecting your digital data. That is cybersecurity in its simplest terms. Clear on this? Any questions? like I said, right, I want this to be interactive. Fundamentally, do you understand the concept of cybersecurity? What is it all about and all? Cool. And why is cybersecurity so booming? Have you thought about it? When we had WWW, World Wide Web, right? When networking has started, why was cybersecurity not there at the first place? Because cybersecurity is only booming from the last one and a half decade. Before that, nobody knows what is cybersecurity, to be honest. Why was it the case? The era of WWW, World Wide Web, has started way before. Like 40, 50 years back, it has started. But when it started, right, it was all about connectivity. It's all about making sure that the world is brought together. Like, for example, if you want to access a website, you can access it sitting in this particular seat. You don't have to be at a specific place, right? At that time, it was all about connectivity. Am I able to access that particular website or not? That is all it mattered. So when networking started, it was all about routers, switches, how to build data centers, because these are all the infrastructure that was needed for you to make sure that the availability is in place, right? Cybersecurity was a afterthought. What do you mean by afterthought? It means that nobody thought about security when you started building all these particular building blocks. These are like Lego building blocks. You know Lego toys, right? How do you build them? Through these building blocks. So when these building blocks were designed, nobody really thought about securing these building blocks. It was all about making sure that these building blocks are in place so that the overall infrastructure is built across the world. Because globalization, all that happened because of these building blocks, right? So when we talk about security, the firewalls, the IDS, IPS of the world, when did they start? They started maybe 2 decades back. Before that, nobody thought of it. Nobody knew what was hacking and all, because everyone was focused on making sure that the data is there, making sure that the data is available whenever you want. All that was in place. But once a lot of breaches started happening, then the industry has realized that you have to have security for the digital systems that you have built. That is the reason why the firewalls, IDS, IPS, all those antivirus for that matter. These days, people talk about EDRs, endpoint detection and response, XDRs, extended detection and response. All these things came into picture. That is when it really started emerging. Because once you know that a particular system is vulnerable, that is when a lot of people can exploit. And again, all these hackers and all, right? What do? They exploit the systems that are available. What did I say about CIA? Availability is a key thing, right? You can't compromise on availability. So when availability is a primary aspect, you're making sure that let's say that you have Flipkart. Everyone knows Flipkart. Amazon for that matter, right? What is their core business? What are they into? What is Amazon into? I'm sorry, come again, loud. E-commerce, right? Yeah. So what do? They sell what you need, commodities online. They are an e-commerce platform, right? So why has Amazon? I mean, they are more like a monopoly in the market in e-commerce industry. Why? Because they understood that logistics will be a major challenge in the upcoming days. How many of you still go to a grocery store or to a Trends to purchase your clothes? A lot of them, no, they especially women, they just ensure that they get everything from Amazon or Flipkart for that matter, right? Why? Because the Amazons of the world have solved this e-commerce challenge that is there, where it is connecting different vendors. Amazon does not have any product of its own. It just does the e-commerce business. It is basically from a product manufacturer to the end user. They just deliver. They just connect and make sure that the logistics are taken care, right? That is all they do. And how are they able to crack that? Because they understood that this is an industry problem that is going to come up in the future. And they were well ahead in the race. And they made all the right decisions, had all the right infrastructure, all the right investment to make sure that they have become a global giant in the e-commerce industry right now. So I was talking about some of the cybersecurity terms, right? So let's see if you know some of these terms. Spyware. What is a spyware? Does anyone know? What is a spy? Spy is someone who steals or acts as if he's benevolent and make sure that he steals all the data, right? So that is spy. Spyware is that is more like a software sitting on your asset or your laptop, and stealing some personal confidential data and making sure it is sent to some malicious user. That is spyware. Virus, everyone knows what is a virus, right? What is a virus? A malicious software that is sitting on your computer which does something other than what you want it to do, right? It looks benevolent for you, I mean plain and simple, but what it does is it corrupts your system, it corrupts your RAM, all that, right? It is intended to do harm to your system or to your personal data. That is virus. Phishing, does anyone know what is phishing? Phishing. So you get an email that you have won a lottery of 20,000. Please click on this link so that you can claim your lottery. That is a phishing email, right? So what will happen when you click on that particular link? It will take you to a fake website, right? Where it will ask for your information. It will tell, we need your bank details. And then you can claim your particular prize money or something. So a lot of people who have common sense, they'll see if that particular website is authentic or not. But there are people who doesn't really understand all this, right? They're carried away by seeing that they have won a lottery. They give these details. And then it will also ask for a OTP. It will tell that I have generated a OTP, give this OTP and then you will get your ransom. What will happen when you give that OTP? It actually gets access to your account and then it will steal all the money that is there in your account. So that is how phishing happens. Phishing is a very, very common way of actually stealing money or data from end user. And backdoors, what are backdoors? Have you heard about Trojans? Have you watched the movie Troy? Right? There they have a Trojan horse, right? What does that Trojan horse do in that particular movie? So the entire army they get into that Trojan horse so that they can get into the kingdom, right? Once they get in the night, they come out of that and they'll start destroying. Why did they do that? Why did they have to build that Trojan? Because from outside it was really difficult for them to penetrate into the kingdom of their enemy. It was not possible because their perimeter was so strong, right? That is the reason why they had to look for innovative ideas. So they built a Trojan and then it was easy. It was easy entry for them. It was a backdoor basically, right? They got in and then they came out of all of the Trojan, and once you are inside the perimeter, it is easy for you to actually do whatever damage that you want to do, right? So that's what happens in that movie. That the backdoor is very similar. Trojan is very similar. So those are real terms which are adopted from the real world. These are cybersecurity terms, but adopted from the real world. So again, why is all this happening? The intruders, hackers, I think I just want to make sure that you connect to some of these terms, like worm. What is a worm? It is very similar to virus, but what does a usual worm do? It crawls, right? So in the same way, when it is installed on your laptop, what does it do? It actually, you don't need any manual intervention. You don't have to double click or anything. It will start executing by itself, and it will start stealing all the data that is there. It is all about building how you want it. So it is the function of a worm. It autonomously extracts all the information that it wants from your computer, and it will share it with a malicious user who is trying to hack all this data, right? Yeah, I was talking about it, right? So see, what is cybersecurity for the industry? It means nothing, to be honest, right? We spoke about Amazon, we spoke about Flipkart. They are into e-commerce business. They are driving the business, right? But why do Amazon or a Flipkart need cybersecurity? Honestly speaking, they don't need it. But why are they investing so much into cybersecurity? Because if there is a cyber attack, you can lose a lot, right? It's like investing in a helmet when you have a two-wheeler, or investing in seat belt or a airbag in your car. Why? Because in case if there is an accident happening, your life will be saved, right? Through these protective mechanisms. It's exactly the same with cybersecurity. It's not a core business as such. Cybersecurity in itself, it's not a core business unless you are a security company. It doesn't generate any revenue for that. For Amazon, security does not generate any revenue. They're investing into it. Why? Because they want to make sure that it is like investing in an airbag. You compare a car with no airbags. There is nothing like no airbags these days, right? In 90s and all, airbags was not a concept at all. Like cybersecurity, it was not a concept. Why? Because your car is to make sure that you are going from one destination to other destination. That's the purpose of a car. But why do you need an airbag? Because it is for safety, right? It is a safety net. In case if there is an accident happens, it is to make sure that your life is not at risk. The same way cybersecurity is for any organization. It is to make sure that you are protected against any hacks, attacks, ransomwares that are happening in the open wild. Right? Like business email compromise. How often does it happen? Like phishing, there is a concept called whaling, which means that you target specific employees. Like I am a vice president for Inspira Enterprise, right? So they won't send a generic email. Like we spoke about a email which says you won $20,000, right? No, that's not the email that a whaling technique uses. Whaling technique uses specific data related to that person. It says that it shows as if it is coming from my CEO. My CEO is asking for some information. The email says that I'm actually stuck in US in a conference, but I need this data immediately so that I can present this to one of our clients. That is the kind of email that it comes. And it will have specific personal things related to me, like it will ask for threat and vulnerability data, or it will ask for some intellectual property related data. Like we have our own patents as a company, right? So it will ask for those kind of data. And if I am not thinking twice, if I am not thinking logical, then I reveal that data, and it might be helpful for the attacker. What is intellectual property? It means that you have invested a lot of time to develop a solution, right? And if I'm just giving it off, it means that some other company can easily replicate that particular intellectual property and can build. It's like giving all the design of a Volkswagen or a Audi to a competitor who is kind of not very well known. Like compare Maruti versus a Audi. Why is Audi more costlier than a Maruti? Simple terms. Because the design is much more superior, it is much more robust as a car, right? It has its own luxury coined, tokened along with it, right? So like the same, those are all the design related things are all patented. which means that it is exclusively for Volkswagen or Audi. It will not be revealed to any other company. So all that data can be given away. Malware we spoke, phishing we spoke, man in the middle attack. What does that mean? It means that you're sending that some data from X to Y, and then in the middle, all this data is being tapped by a man in the middle. That is man in the middle attack. So what will get compromised there? Integrity can get compromised, which means that you can tamper the data that you are sending to the end user. That is possible. Or confidentiality is obviously compromised, which means that you are sending from X to Y, right? So the information should be known only by X and only by Y. But there is a Z coming in between who is knowing all that data. That is man in the middle attack. What is DOS? We spoke about CIA triad. Availability is a major aspect of it, right? So let's say that you are booking Tatkal tickets. Everyone would have gone for Sankranti recently, right? So you would have booked railway tickets, which is quite obvious, right? Before 3 months, the booking opens. So on the day of opening, what if Indian Railways IRCTC was not available? Will you be able to actually book tickets? You will not be able to, right? That is DOS. If there is an organization which is doing DOS, DOS is denial of service, which means an end user is trying to access something, and that access is being stopped or hindered by an organization. It is DOS. DDoS is distributed denial of service, which means that the requests are coming from different origins. So where the service, when you understand a web application, right? This in simplest terms, how it works. There is a front end, there is a back end. At the back end, there is a server where it will take all the requests and it will give a response to the request that is received from the end user. That's how a web application works, right? What if there are a lot of requests that are coming from a malicious user? It can be done through automated ways, where you will kind of use some robotic techniques and send some random junk traffic. Then the web server also will have a cap or a limit, right? It can only take 100 requests, let's say. And all these 100 are not genuine. They're not, let's say we are talking about IRCTC, right? So they are coming from a random source where they really don't want to book tickets, but they want to disrupt all this traffic, right? That is possible. So in denial of service, this availability itself is compromised. That is DDoS. SQL injection very much related to a web application again, where you know SQL scripting and all, right? So through the SQL techniques, they use SQL injection attacks to get a lot of intellectual data from a website. Let's say that user-related information is confidential, right? So that data can be revealed through using SQL injection techniques. Like 1 is equal to 1 is always true, right? So they will use those kind of patterns in your username and password fields to get some kind of confidential data like user information, all that. With that, they can do anything for that matter, right? Zero-day exploit, it means that there is a weakness existing in the system and you don't know that that weakness is already there. Someone is actually discovering that weakness, right? Once there is a weakness, let's say that Cisco manufactures routers, switches, firewalls and all, right? Let's say that in Cisco Meraki firewall, there is a weakness or a vulnerability which is not known till then. And there is a hacker who was able to exploit that particular weakness. And through that, he was able to do XYZ, right? What if this particular hacker is revealing this data in the deep dark web to all the other hackers, saying that if you exploit this, this is what you're going to get, right? And then with that, all the hackers can actually target a lot of organizations where, because talk about a Cisco Meraki firewall, it is being used by all major organizations because firewalls are used by any organization, right? So that those hackers will actually try to target these firewalls and they make sure that they exploit the vulnerability that was there and they get into the organization. We spoke about this example, right? Trojan, where they bypass the perimeter through that technique. And once you are inside, you can do anything. Cybersecurity is very, very related to your physical world. Let's say that you have your college. How many entry points does your college have? One entry point. Exit points? How can you go out from your college? Same entry and exit is same, right? Why did the college design like that? Because it is a 15 acre campus. What if they have 4 or 5 exit points? What will happen? The security will be compromised because you have to put guards in each of these places, right? And it is a huge investment. That is one reason. Second, what if you can't focus on it? If you have only one exit point, it means that you have to protect only that exit point. There is no other way that you can go out of your college, right? What if there are 4 or 5 other exit points? Then your strategy is decentralized. You are thinking too much about what your exit points are. And what if you can't place so many guards at 1 or 2 exit points? It becomes a vulnerability, weakness, right? So through that, maybe you bunk your college and go to a movie or something. That is possible. Or maybe some outsiders can come in, steal some college-related property. That can be possible, right? So those kind of things. So that should not happen. To make sure that it is not happening, what do? Make sure that exploits are not there in your organization. And how do they do it? By architecture. This is all architecture, right? Same like physical architecture, security architecture also is a design. So you design a particular concept first and then implement it. So why cybersecurity is needed for every organization? That is because of this, where all these exploits, right? What will happen in the real world when a zero-day exploit is getting exploited? The internal security teams, what do? They immediately see what are some compensating controls to ensure that this particular vulnerability is not exploited. And they implement those compensating controls, which means that when an attacker is trying to exploit that weakness on your Cisco firewall, this particular security team, which is sitting in-house, they will have bypass techniques. Maybe they'll write a rule which says that any kind of whitelist rule, which says that any kind of traffic that is coming from outside, from a region, let's say that China is exploiting a lot of vulnerabilities at that time, right? They'll have a whitelist rule which says that if the traffic is coming from China, drop that particular traffic. That is a bypass rule, right? In that way, they can actually reduce the impact that is getting created. And they'll monitor the traffic really close, which will help them in making sure that that particular organization is not getting exploited through the zero-day vulnerability that is detected. Cross-site scripting is, again, a technique in web applications where, let's not go very detailed into it. So these are some of the type of cybersecurity attacks that can actually happen in the real world, right? And they're all leveraged by the hackers to make sure that they're getting something or the other, okay? Again, these are some of the some of the concepts or some of the type of attacks that are actually possible in the real world, like malware, denial of service attacks, phishing, spoofing. Spoofing is changing the data, again, related to integrity, where when a traffic is originated from one point A to point B, point A will have a source IP address, right? It has its own port related information. In spoofing, you actually change that. So when you change it and send that particular packet, it goes to destination B. From B, it will come back to a different source because you are spoofing that data, right? So it will change and then it will send it to some point C, where they are not the intended user for that particular data. Identity-based attacks. What is identity? Digital identity. You have accounts in WhatsApp. You have accounts in Facebook and all, right? So how does Facebook know that is you logging in? It is only through the information that you are giving, which is username and password. let's say that your friend knows your credentials. If he is logging in, will the Facebook website know that it is you logging in or he logging in? They will not know it, because what it knows is if the username and password is given right, it will allow you to log in, right? So identity based attacks are very similar, which means that you either have access to the confidential data that your friend has, or you will have, so there are three ways of identity based attacks: what you know, what you have, what you are. What is what you know? What you know is password. You know your password, right? You know that your password is xyz at the rate of 1 to 3. What you have, what does it mean? OTP. Your OTP is what you have. It comes to your mobile, right? That is coming when you're logging in. That is what you have. So let's say that your friend is having your mobile and he has the pin to your mobile. Then what you have is compromised. What you are, what is what you are? Biometrics. Your thumbprint, fingerprint, that is what you are. It cannot be changed, right? It is your identity, biological identity. Or iris scan. Your eye will have an iris, right? That is what you are. So if one of the aspect of these three are compromised, then digital identity attacks are possible conceptually, right? And digital identity has become a major area in the cybersecurity world, because everything starts from digital identity. So there are a lot of solutions related to identity access management, privileged access management. All those things have emerged in the last 3 or 4 years, where you evolve, make sure that you have solutions in place to avoid these kind of digital identity attacks. Okay. Supply chain attacks. Have you heard about SolarWinds? Anyone heard about SolarWinds? So that particular organization was compromised in a way that their supply chain was compromised. They had a vendor where they do the surveillance, camera surveillance. And the vendor who is doing the camera surveillance for SolarWinds, they actually were not really up to the mark when it comes to the cybersecurity measures. So the attacker first entered into the vendor environment. From the vendor environment, they had access, right, to SolarWinds' actual core systems. So from there, they entered inside. As such, SolarWinds had a very strong cybersecurity posture. They were not able to penetrate and all, because they were maintaining the best practices. But the vendor was not maintaining it, right? But the SolarWinds obviously will give access to their vendor. It is required because they're doing the surveillance and all, right? But through this, the malicious traffic has entered and the compromise has happened. So that is supply chain attacks. So see, I mean, if you talk about cybersecurity, imagine the number of dimensions through which an attack can happen, right? We just spoke about identity-based attack, network security-based attack, supply chain attack. So social engineering attacks. What are social engineering attacks? We just spoke about it. Your friend taking your credentials and all. That is one. But what about other real-life social engineering attacks? It's like a random person. You go to a summit, like a workshop, right? He will talk to you. He will understand what you are. Like he will know what your family is, when were you born. These kind of data will be gathered, and that will be handed over to the attacker. How many of you use repeated passwords? You have many social media, like Instagram is something which you use quite often. WhatsApp is something that you use quite often. Facebook is something you use quite often, right? So we have a tendency of using the same password for a lot of websites. That is quite possible because you don't want to remember a lot of different passwords. So use the same. Some of them, they use their date of birth in the password. That is a pattern that a lot of them follows. Or your siblings' date of births and all, right? So all those, if a social engineering attack is possible when the attacker knows you personally. Very much he knows the patterns that you follow and all. And then social engineering attack is possible. So that is one aspect. Insider threats. What are insider threats? Let's say that there is an organization, right? And you have a disgruntled employee. What is a disgruntled employee? He's not happy with the organization's policies, or he did not get a very good appraisal last time. So what he does, he turns against, he goes rogue, and then he'll try to sell the information that is there for that particular company in the deep dark web, right? These days, if you look at the deep dark web, right, you get a lot of information that is sold, which means that usernames, passwords that are sold, which are related to your organization. They really doesn't care, right? As long as they're getting the money, these insider threats are definitely possible. So again, going back to the example that we had, right? The perimeter of your college. So you only have one entry point, one exit point. But what if one of your student itself has some malicious intent? How will you know that? That is only possible through having the right controls. Let's say that there is a student who want to enter into a lab, steal some expensive equipment. That is possible, right? It doesn't have to be a thief who comes in and steals it. As long as it is gone, it is gone. So that is an insider attack, insider threat, right? So you cannot really trust anyone when it comes to cyber security. You always have to, again, it is not physical trusting, right? It is all digital trusting. So the lines are even more blur. As long as you have the right usernames, passwords to get in, the systems will not know whether it is you or some X who is actually accessing the data. So with all these dynamics, you still have to make sure that your company is protected from digital thefts, identities, and all. So the statement that I want to make here is cybersecurity has become a centerpiece of all the organizations because the threat is so ubiquitous. It can come from any dimension. There are many dimensions through which a company can be compromised, right? So like in very short, we just saw, right? Availability can be compromised. Your internal employees can be compromised. Supply chains can be compromised. Identity can be compromised. So there is a lot of possibility that there is a compromise that can happen, right? And what is IoT? Internet of Things. You're all electronic students, right? You would have heard about SCADA systems, PLC systems, all that, right? Programmable logic controls, all that. So it's not just IT assets that are compromised. It's the IoT assets also. These days you have robotic washing machines. You have robotic floor cleaners. Like a lot of these days, right? Your maids who does your housekeeping stuff, like cleaning your floor and all, that is all already automated to some extent. There are a lot of high-class communities who only use a Eureka Forbes cleaner to sweep their floor and all. There was a recent article which says that, see, he was having a smart floor cleaner. So this was actually gathering a lot of data related to their house. It was gathering the dimensions of each room in that particular house, and it was giving away this particular data to a malicious hacker. So what is happening there? The hacker or the intruder, he clearly understands where there is a door inside your particular house. How much is the dimension of a house? Where is your birwa in your house? All that information, without knowing, this particular device is sending back. Imagine the type of advancement that has happened in cybersecurity, right? So Internet of Things based attacks is very much possible these days. Your washing machines and all, right? They send back a lot of data. As long as it is connected, it has the ability to send back data to anyone, for that matter, as long as it is compromised, right? That is very much possible. So all these things are a lot of aspects that you should take care of when it comes to cybersecurity. And AI-powered attacks, I'll touch upon it again in some subsequent slides. So moving on. So see, these are some real-world attacks. I was talking about real-world attacks, right? conceptually it might feel as if that this is all possible theoretically, but practically is it possible, or organizations really under cyber attacks or not? Because for a cyber attack to happen, a lot of things should happen, right? You should check 3, 4, 5 boxes, only then the cyber attack is possible. But see, these are all real world attacks that happen. Star Health is an insurance company in India. They got breached, and then their internal data was exposed. Because of that, the stock market has fell 2%. Imagine the revenue of Star Health. Their revenue is in billions. 2% of it is like in millions, 400, 500, 600 million. That is a huge loss for any company, right? So cybersecurity compromise has led to the downfall of that particular insurance company. Okay. MGM is a resort in Las Vegas. They have resorts. Okay. Gambling, all that, they're into that particular industry. They had a cyber attack that happened. You see this, MGM Resorts shuts down its IT systems after the cyber attack. I was in US at that time. People who had reservations in MGM Resorts, they were not given entry because all their data was completely compromised. Let's say there is a person X who had a reservation. His name was changed. His identity was changed to some person Y who did not have a reservation. But in the system, whatever shows, right? What about the agent who is talking to you? He only sees the data that is in front of you, right? So he gave access to a person who actually did not have that particular reservation. That information was tweaked from the back end. And then he went in and he compromised the entire resort and then took a lot of data. They had close to 400, 500 million loss because of that unavailability. So all their systems were compromised. So all they have to do was completely shut down their resorts and then start from ground zero. That's the level of impact that they had. DRDO phishing attack. This was a spear phishing attack. What did I say about whaling and spear phishing? It targets specific people, right? It's not a generic attack. For example, we spoke about you have won a lottery for 20,000 rupees or dollars. That will be sent to some thousands and lakhs of users. It doesn't really matter. They'll send it to a lot of users, and then it is all about the user taking that bait to reveal the information. But the spear phishing attacks or whaling attacks, they are very specific. They're sent to specific organizations. They're sent to specific C-class users or C-class employees like presidents, vice presidents, or CEOs, CXOs of the organizations. So if they fall bait, the impact is really, really huge. So DRDO had such kind of attack. WazirX, cryptocurrency is becoming famous these days, right? You know about cryptocurrency. So this particular organization into cryptocurrency, so they had an attack where almost 235 million worth of fund was stolen because of the cryptocurrency data that was compromised. And the cryptocurrency hacks have increased significantly in the last couple of years. Because in cryptocurrency is a huge industry these days. Everyone would have heard about Bitcoin, right? And the value of Bitcoin. It has skyrocketed in the previous 1-2 years, right? So whenever there is a value for something, obviously cyber attacks are definitely possible. If you think logically, let's say that there is a house in which there was a theft that happened, right? If the organization, if the house is actually having a lot of wealth, that is when the attacker will benefit from it, correct? So cyber attack is very similar. The organization should benefit from it. What's the point of doing a cyber attack when you don't get anything? Nothing, right? So in the same way, when the industry is becoming big, like crypto hacking, crypto industry is becoming big, there is a high chance that attackers will target such kind of industry because they get benefit out of it. That's quite logical, right? Nobody does hacking, ransomware, or anything on an organization which can't give you anything, right? Imagine hacking Amazon or imagine hacking Apple. The upside or the advantage that you can get is huge, right? Or imagine hacking a company which is just a startup. What can they do? They can't do anything because they don't have that capital to give it to the attackers or hackers. So attackers are also smart. They want a ransom out of the attack that they are doing because they have to get some kind of benefit out of the attack that they are doing, right? More often than not, it is the ransom that they are after. See, these are some of the individual cyber attacks that happened in the industry in 22, 23 times. So if you look at the amount of categories, customer fraud. What is customer fraud? So it means that the customers are compromised by taking some kind of information. So recently I had a friend where he had a washing machine and one of the part was damaged. And then he calls up IFB and they said that they'll come in 1 or 2 days. A agent showed up at the doorstep and they obviously will let him in, right? So they let him in and he told that there are certain components that have to be changed. I'm taking these components and then I'll come back tomorrow, make sure that the components are replaced. He told okay. And then that guy took the components and he left. 2 days, 3 days, they did not turn up. And then he calls up. They were like, no, we did not send the agents. The agents are busy. What happened there? The agent, whoever was taking the call, somehow the data was leaked. That data was important, right? And then there was a person who showed up at the doorstep. He stole all the components that are there in the washing machine. And he was a malicious person. I mean, they will have a proper, organization who will do all this, right? So he took some 15,000 worth of components from the washing machine and he fled away. And then how will the user know? How can you stop such kind of attacks? Use your common sense. How can you stop such kind of attacks? It is by validating the identity. When that person showed up with a IFB shirt, right, he blindly let him in. But what he would have done, again, see, that was a very sophisticated attack in my opinion. Though the value that they got was only 15,000, it was a very sophisticated attack. So what he can do is, he would have verified his identity. He would have asked, show me your ID card. Right, that would have definitely discouraged the user to do any kind of compromise. Or he would have thought twice, is this actually logical or not, whatever he was trying to do, right? Why will he take components out of my washing machine and bring it back after 2 days? Rather, he'll bring a new part and then install it there, right? That would have been something else. So it's all about common sense. Stopping, holding your thought, thinking twice whether this is actually true or not. Like you getting an email that you have won 20,000 rupees lottery. Nobody will give money for free. Yes or no? Everything comes at a cost. In this particular world, everything comes at a cost. So it's all about thinking twice, stopping and thinking twice before acting on something. That's how you can actually avoid a lot of cyber attacks that are happening. Advance fee frauds, they are very, very trending these days. What is advance fee fraud? It means that, let's say that there is a car company or a dealer who comes to you, tells that we are running a promotional offer. You pay 20,000 now, we'll give the car for you. After 1 year, you start paying the EMI. It looks very attractive, right? So nobody will actually think twice before taking that particular bait. What he is interested in is taking the 20,000 advance and then he jumps off. It happens very, very, very frequently these days. And again, you can't really understand. You have to question the source of that particular identity, right? When he comes and says that give us an advance of 20,000, we are from so and so dealership, you have to check the authenticity of the dealership, right? You have to go in person, check that, all that. You should be doing those kind of things. Again, these days it is very easy. Everyone comes to your doorstep. You really don't validate a lot, right? How many of you actually look at the certificate? Everyone have bank accounts. I think everyone have online accounts as well, right? You log in into ICICI or online SBI or Axis Bank, whatever it is. How many of you actually look for a digital certificate before logging in? Hardly, I feel a lot of them won't, because the page is very familiar to you. And attacker can actually emulate the same page. The look and feel is exactly the same. It will act exactly the same. But what it does, once you give the user credentials, it will steal that credentials and it will say that the website is unavailable right now. Your credentials are gone. And they just need one more step to execute it, which is the OTP. They'll find some other bypass technique to get your OTP. It is very much easily possible these days, right? And then investment frauds, bank frauds, I don't want to get into that. Marks and Spencers, that's a famous clothing brand, right? Everyone knows about it, M&S. So they were down recently because they have paused orders online because they had a cyber attack. And it has impacted their profit in that particular quarter by 30%, which is huge, right? And let's say that you know about a hack happening on a particular website. Will you ever go again to that? You will have your doubts in your mind, right? It will reduce the amount of traction that it used to get before. And again, to get back to the same stage, it will take a lot of time. Again, because it is all about reputation, right? Reputation matters. When the reputation is compromised, it will definitely impact your overall core business. Look at this trend. This is an interesting graph. In 2019, globally, $3 trillion were spent for cybersecurity by organizations. If you look at 2025, it has increased to 10.5 trillion. And it is almost three folds, not even three and a half folds. And you're talking in trillions, not rupees, thousands or dollars. It is trillions, not even billions, trillions, right? So what does it show? It shows that your organizations are willing to spend a lot of money on cybersecurity. They're investing into cybersecurity. What does it mean for you as students? It means that there is opportunity there, right? When the organization is willing to invest in cybersecurity, it also means the organization is taking a lot of cybersecurity professionals to get their work done, right? So there is opportunity. Everyone want to get a good job for sure, right? Want to get a well-paid job. And cybersecurity is a very attractive career. To be honest, it is booming right now. It's one of the industry which has the highest intake in the market as of now. So there are some of the facts. A single ransomware attack can cost you $1.85 million on an average. These are facts that are taken from some of the primary websites which give you stats, right? $1.85 million is a huge amount for any organization, right? A single ransomware can cost you that much. Cybersecurity cost companies an estimate of 8 trillion in 2023, a staggering number that is expected to rise to $24 million in 2024. It is again three folds, right? It's increasing day by day. The cybersecurity investments are increasing day by day. Why is it increasing so much? Because there are a lot of attacks that are happening, right? What the organizations doesn't have a choice except protecting their data from these attackers, hackers and all. What do they do to protect all this? They have to invest first, right? They invest and then they make sure that the organization's data is protected. Okay, I think I have covered a lot of ground. I just wanted it to be a little more engaging. That's why I have kind of put this particular game. I want you to kind of guess what it is all about. Okay, so these are some of the movies or the series. This is a series that is coming up. Does anyone know what series is this? It's there on Hotstar. It is about a penetration tester or a hacker who goes haywire and disrupts the ecosystem of the world. No one who has seen it? Mr. Robert, right? Have you seen that? Yeah, yeah. It's a good series. You can watch. I mean, you'll get interest into cybersecurity for sure. I can see it is all about getting that interest, right? Imagine you're doing a job. If you're doing that job without interest, how long can you go? It will definitely not stay long, right? After some time, it becomes monotonous, right? But what if you're doing that job out of interest? It will motivate you, self-motivate you. So I'm just trying to motivate you in the right direction. Watch this series. It's a very good series. You will like it, and hopefully it will create some interest on cybersecurity. Any guesses? I thought Gen Zs do a lot of binge watching. Interesting that, no. Yeah, ma'am. These are movies, right? It's their strength. I'm not asking subject. I'm asking about movies. Okay, cool. So the name of the movie is Who Am I? No System is Safe. Again, very good movie. Again, related to hacking and all. Worth watching it. You will definitely see how some real life attacks can happen in the world. This is a very famous movie. Huh? Come again? You said something? Huh? I can't hear you. You're too far away. I have a mic. You don't. I understand. Did you tell the name? The lady in the corner. I heard your voice, but did you tell the name or no? Everyone is so shy here. All right. The movie name is $1 Billion Heist. Did she tell that? No? Okay. All right. Again, worth watching. Very good movie, which is related to hacking and all. What? Again, I am not giving the real real screen from the picture. This is just to guess the name of the movie. What are the words that are coming to you when you see this? Lens. Lens is the movie name actually. It's a Hindi movie. Hopefully some of you would have. Yeah, that's a mask that a person is wearing. Salman Khan's mask. Words that are coming to your mind when you see this? Hacked. You're right. It's also a good movie related to compromising the data and all. Again, a Hindi movie, right? You would have definitely watched. All right, I think that is enough of entertainment. I'll get back to some of the gyan that I want to share. Okay, see, again, let's not go into the details. At a high level, when we talk about cybersecurity, it impacts a lot of practices or a lot of areas. Incident response and forensics. What is incident response at a very high level? When an attack happens, what is the organization doing with respect to that attack? That is incident response. I think Professor Ravindra sir, he highlighted resilience, right? What is resilience? Resilience is when you're hit, how strong are you? How can you get back to your original shape? That is resilience, right? So incident response is a key capability of your resilience strategy. So it means that when there is an attack happening, how soon can you get back to your original state of business? And incident response is very critical. It's like patients, right? Let's say that one of your relative got a heart attack or something. What happens immediately? He'll be taken to a hospital. He'll be admitted in the hospital. Incident response is like the time spent in the ambulance, or the time spent from the time he got the heart attack to the time he was admitted to the hospital. That is very critical, right? In the same way, incident response is very critical. You have to analyze, understand how the attack has happened. Only then you will be able to defend against that attack. In the same way, the critical treatment has to be given to the patient who got a heart attack, right? Very similar. What is forensics? Forensics is all about what has happened. It's like a log of what the sequence of steps that have happened. Let's say that a server is compromised. So you run forensics on that to understand the attack path of that particular compromise. Why do you need to do that when the impact has already happened? It is to make sure that it will not repeat in your organization. You understand how it happened, and you make sure that there are necessary compensating controls that you are putting for that kind of attack not to happen, right? Network security, it is to make sure that you are guarding your network assets like firewalls, routers, IDS, load balancers, all that, right? That is network security. It is one of the oldest areas in security. It started with network security. Like I said, right? Networks were built first, and then security was added on top of it. So network security is one of the oldest area a lot of organizations have invested into. Cloud security. Cloud is again a recent trend, right? How many organizations have moved into cloud in the recent times? A lot of organizations, because it has its own cost advantages. Imagine building a data center for your organization. It takes millions of dollars, because building data centers is not easy. You have to have a space, you have to have your HVAC systems built for that, you have to have your high-end servers which are actually bought, which is a heavy investment. You have to have cabling for all that. You have to make sure that availability is also taken care of. So building a data center is not easy. But what if you have your data center in the cloud? That's very easy, right? This is a one-time investment. It is like buying a car in one go versus paying EMI for your car, right? That is why cloud security is so evolving, because the initial investment is really low for the organizations. So cloud security, when you have moved your data into cloud, what do you need after that? You have to secure the data in the cloud, right? That is cloud security in simplest terms. Again, a area that is really evolving in the recent times. Endpoint security, again, one of the oldest security that is there in the industry for a while. Like network security, endpoint security was also there for a very long time. Identity and access management, I just spoke about it, right? It is a recent trend. Identity thefts, identity related attacks have really gone sky high. So identity investments have gone sky high when it comes to security spending. Governance, risk and compliance, again, one of the oldest areas in cybersecurity. Every organization need to be compliant to something, right? See, when your organization has to be protected, there are some government related norms or sector related norms that will come into picture. Have you heard about PCI DSS, Payment Card Industry Data Security Standards? That is one of a compliance requirement. If you are into payment related business, or if you are holding any transactional data, like your card related data or something to process, then you have to be PCI DSS compliant. What does that do? When you say compliance, it means that it is a mandate. It's not an optional thing anymore. You have to do it. So as part of the compliance, they will say that you have to have a network security team in place. You have to have network security related gear or infrastructure in place to ensure that cyber security related attacks are not happening. So when you talk about compliance, it is a mandate. It has to happen. It's not an optional thing, right? It's like the minimum thing that you need to ensure that you are operational in that business. What happens when you are non-compliant? What is non-compliance? It means that you're going out of business if you are non-compliant. What does the regulatory authority say? If you are not compliant with this, let's take this same example. If you failed the PCI DSS audit or something, right? Compliance audit, it means that you can't do any business related to data transactions, your financial transactions. How will it impact? Let's say Amazon is not PCI DSS compliant. It means that it can't handle any card related data. It will totally go out of business, right? Because everything related to financial transactions is a core for the business. If you can't take how will you order in Amazon? It is by giving you card related information, right? Cash on delivery, hardly anyone does these days. Everything is through card related transactions. So organizations really get a major impact if they are going non-compliant. So a lot of spending will go into compliance related things in cybersecurity. So that is one of the oldest industries again. I'll not get into this. I think we explained things related to that, right? So when I talk about network security, it is primarily firewalls, IDS, IPS, antivirus, security policies, secure communication. All these things fall under the network security aspect. All right. Application security is all about securing your applications. Application can be a web application, mobile application, right? What is a mobile application? On your phone, you have your Facebook as application, right? You log in and all. So app can be a web application, which means you log in a computer through facebook.com, or an application on your mobile, which is Facebook app, right? So it is important that you secure all type of applications. And in mobile applications, you have two categories: Android applications, iOS applications. So you have to secure both of them, right? So again, it is an industry in itself. Any organization who does business, right, they are into applications. You have to host a web application or web application to ensure that that data is conveyed, right, or business is done through that particular application. So we do a lot of annual web applications and mobile application testing for all our clients. This is one of the recurring business that we have. Cloud infrastructure, we spoke about it, so I don't want to get into that. In the interest of time, I'll switch to something which is more interesting, because I have like 5 more minutes. Again, we are into AI related summit, right? Why is cybersecurity even more booming? Because AI infrastructure has come, right? It is the reality. What is NVIDIA doing? It is generating a lot of GPUs. It manufactures GPUs. Have you watched the trend of NVIDIA in the last 5 years, right? If there are 2 companies which have done really well in the business, Tesla is one and NVIDIA is one. Tesla, because it disrupted the electrical automotives industry. It has the stock price. Look at this stock price. If you want to understand something related to a business, right, follow the money. How did that particular organization grow? It will show in the stock price of that particular organization. And NVIDIA is another company. Why NVIDIA has grown rapidly in the last 1-2 years? Because they are into building GPUs. GPUs are the base for building infrastructure for AI related infrastructure. Every organization, whoever is trying to kind of get into AI, right? They have to buy these GPUs from NVIDIA. It is the basic infrastructure. So they had huge demand for these GPUs. They have to buy it, then they have to build this particular infrastructure. So deepfake AI hacking is a reality. These days it is very easy, right? You should have been seeing on the websites that this particular person has gone there or they are with someone else, right? That is all deepfake. They really were not there. But with AI, it is becoming very much possible. So organizations want to protect against all of these things. And again, AI social engineering related attacks, generative AI related attacks, AI capturing. So AI as an industry is evolving. When the industry is evolving, you have to have a guardrail against that industry, right? Which is the cyber security. So cyber security for AI is also becoming very much a traction point. Okay? Yes, yeah. Yeah, I wanted to get to that. I wanted to touch upon some practices that we have, but I want to focus on this. Have you heard about the principle never trust, always verify? Anyone? So when it comes to security, right, the earlier philosophy was trust but verify. What does that mean? You trust them, but make sure that you are verifying that, right? But the philosophy has changed these days. That is never trust, always verify. Don't trust anything, always verify. That is zero trust, which is coming up in the industry. Zero trust is a trend in the cybersecurity industry these days. That is to avoid any kind of digital identity-based attacks. Okay? I was talking about this, right? How many of you are using the same password everywhere? It is very, very common. That's a human psychology. If you have some 10, 15 web applications, like a banking applications, like a Facebook, like a Google, all these things, right? What happens when Google accounts are compromised? If the Google related data is compromised, the attacker will have access to your username and password of Google. But the password, you're reusing it in a banking website. What will it do? The attacker will also know that he'll do the attempts, that is called brute force attack. He'll try logging into your bank account through the same password. And if it is successful, he means that he is able to get your money, right? So don't do this. That is a bad practice. Especially when you are creating login accounts on normal web applications, right? Make sure that you are using different passwords. Never use the same password that you're using for a banking application anywhere else. That is a best practice. Okay? Public Wi-Fi, this is again very common. You go to a railway station, you go to an airport, right? There is a Wi-Fi available. Everyone wants free Wi-Fi because they want to surf internet and all. It is very quite often it is done, right? But how safe are these Wi-Fi Wi-Fis that are available in the public? They are not, because they are built on weak encryption, which means that all the data that you are sending, right, that is all in plain text, which means then an attacker can easily take that information to work against you. Got it? How much of your personal information today is stored digitally? I think 80 to 90% is stored digitally, right? You go to a trip, you post your pics on Instagram, right? Or you post it on social media like a TikTok or whatever it is. So everyone knows where you are right now, right? So your digital identity is so compromised these days, it is very easy for people to know about you, very, very easily. Did anyone try this? Hacking your college website? You do it, you'll be surprised. A lot of vulnerabilities will be there because educational institutions, right, they are not known to manage cyber hygiene because that's not what they do. They are into education business. But what if your website is hacked? It will have user related information. For example, your ma'ams or sirs, right? They'll have their username and password, which will have access to your records, your marks and all. What if you're able to change it? Possible, right? Yeah, so that is another interesting aspect. Um, these days, it is very common to share passwords with your partners or friends. But what if your friend is actually not having the right intentions? He can use it against you, right? Very much possible. So make sure that you're careful against these kind of things. All right. Any question and answers for me? I hope it was an engaging session. I hope you learned something out of it. I hope you got some interest in cybersecurity. That is what I wanted to do, inspire some of you to make sure that you are choosing cybersecurity as a career path. Yeah, thank you everyone.
We extend our heartfelt thanks to distinguished guest, Mr. Subhash Muthareddy Garu, for delivering an insightful lecture on AI threat, vulnerability, and resilience in cybersecurity. Thank you, sir, for sharing your expertise with us. Yes, sir. So now it's time to honor our distinguished guest. I request Principal Professor J.V.R. Ravindra, sir, and Head of the Department, ECE, Professor S. Rajendra, sir, to kindly come forward and felicitate our distinguished guest, Mr. Subhash Muthareddy Garu. Thank you, sir. Now I request all faculty members and students to kindly